Good morning. Morning, Moses. Good morning, Sharon. Morning. Do you have a webcam? Maybe you want to turn it on? Or don't be shy. Hello, Sharon.
Hello. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, Sharon. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so we've got Sharon.
Are you from MMS or from
No,
Lodge?
I'm from LSAA,
Okay.
Lodge School Alumni Association. I'll be a moderator for
Okay.
today. Our format will be half an hour of your presentation.
hmm
So feel free to share screen, right? Maybe you want to test it out. Do you have any videos which you are playing today?
Um, I do have a video, but just a sec, yeah.
Okay, I make it. So maybe if you want to test out your playback of the audio, sometimes the video doesn't play, the audio does not play. And May, good morning. Do you want to leave your contact details later, now, so that the participants can contact you later if they need to? So, good morning, everyone. If you have any further questions at the end of this talk, you can please feel free to contact May Tan of MMS. She will be She'll be able to help you answer any questions and deal with your applications that you may have and any other queries. My name is Ron. Ronald, you can call me Ron. I'm from the Lodge School Alumni Association. I'll be moderating today's talk. The format will be half an hour of the talk by Sharon, and we'll leave 15 minutes at the end for questions and answers. All right, so you can have, if you have any questions along the way, just write it down or just have it in mind. Then you can ask it at the end of the talk.
Okay. Do I start? So
Um,
just wondering, are there students who are watching this right now, or is it recorded and will be shared later to the students?
yeah, so it's recorded right now, and you can see there are two students inside already. There's Isaac Teo, and
Okay.
you can see the participants. May is from MMS.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
so
met.
I think we'll start in about 2 to 5 minutes. We'll let more people come in because still before 11. It's 10:58. So,
Yeah.
do you want to test your share screen function? Is it working?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that now. So yeah, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just quickly try the video as well.
That'd be great. You can hear me all right, from my side?
Yes. So, do you hear the music? Okay. So yes, that will be what I'll be sharing.
Okay. So you're in South Australian. Is that Adelaide where you at?
Yes, I am in Adelaide. I'm from Malaysia actually, but currently based in Adelaide.
I see. I have yeah, many friends in Adelaide at the moment, living there, working there. There's no lockdown at the moment, right? I understand it's quite peaceful and quite normal right now.
Yes, on the contrary, actually, just last night we had more easing of restrictions. So right now there's a bigger number of gatherings that are allowed. So things are sort of getting better, actually.
That's good. That's unlike in Malaysia, we are having extended RMCO until the end of the year. So
Yeah, I just heard. It's like, are the cases actually increasing now?
Uh,
A few.
Cases under control, I think. In Sarawak, zero cases most days. Some days
Okay.
1 2, but for the most part, I think it's still under control.
Okay. Well, in Adelaide, as you said, it's been quiet. We've had at most on certain days we'll have single digit cases. Those are the days when we have our repatriation flights come in. So for Australian citizens and residents, flights are still allowed. They're still coming into Adelaide. So on those flights, we do still have positive cases, but it's very well managed. Because most of them do the hotel quarantine, so we don't have any community spread. So, and we're trying to keep it that way as well.
That would be the best because, yeah, I mean, life is hard when when all shut down.
I can imagine.
But that's great. I mean, you are in wine country, right? So it's
Yes.
good life.
We still do get to go out, and yeah, places are getting busier.
Okay, so let me just get down everybody's name. It's 11:01. Let's start in about 1 minute's time. But if you can make a request, please. If everyone can just turn on their videos, if you have a webcam, you don't have to turn on your audio. Then it might be more interactive. You feel more like we are in the same room where we can see everybody. Uh, and then we will be able to give the questions and answers session later on. Then you can turn on your mic. But it would be nice, I think, if you have webcam, please turn on your webcam so that we can see everybody here and so we know who is here. Okay. All right. So without further ado, good morning. For those who just joined us, my name is Ron. I am the moderator for this morning. I'm from the Lodge School Alumni Association. Just like you, I was a lodgian not too long ago. So today is all about EduFair. And now we are doing the University of South Australia presentation by Sharon. And okay, without further ado, Sharon, would you like to start your presentation?
Well, good morning, everybody. It's really nice to be here. Nice to see you all as well. At least the ones that I can see on the video cam. So I'm from the University of South Australia. I'd like to welcome you to this session. I'll tell you a little bit about the university, also about the state where we are at. I won't be looking directly into the camera because I've got a few screens going on here. So please don't think that that's weird. So the University of South Australia, we're located in Adelaide. Adelaide is in the state of South Australia. It's the capital of South Australia. There are direct flights from Kuala Lumpur to Adelaide, which is about 7 hours direct. So if you can look into the map out here, this is where we're located, very close. The city is very close to the shoreline. This is the city of Adelaide. We are surrounded by hills and also the sea. So it is a state of 1.7 million people. In the city itself, there's about 1.3 million people. The formal language here is English, but because of the diversity, it's really common if you go out to overhear people talking in Malay, in Mandarin, in Cantonese, and all sorts of languages. The currency that we use is the Australian dollar. And as I mentioned, because we've got a really long shoreline, it's about 3,700 kilometers long. So there are a lot of beaches in Adelaide. So Glenelg, Semaphore, Henley, I'll show you some pictures as well later. Generally, we have 4 seasons, which is really hot summers and also really cold winters. Like right now, we are at the cusp of winter and spring. So we're sort of at the end of winter, heading on into spring. But I can tell you, it is really cold, and that's why I still have my jacket on, although it's we are moving into spring. Autumn and spring, it's really beautiful weather. As you can see, we've got the pictures over here. So in summer, this is the Fleurieu Peninsula. This is actually Adelaide Hills in the autumn. This is actually one of the wineries over here in winter, and this is just the city. We've got this flowers called jacaranda. It only comes out in spring, and most of the city is covered in these purple flowers. So as I showed you earlier, we've got a lot of things that's constantly going on in Adelaide. So there's different things that goes on in different seasons. Currently, it's been a bit quiet because of the COVID situation in South Australia. However, compared to most of the states or most of the countries, we have been doing quite well. We have zero number of cases, and we've only had a total of 463 cases to date, but we have done more than 369,379 tests. And I'll go into it a little bit later when I go into my slides. We've had single digit cases since April, with the whole of June being totally COVID-free, and this is the latest update that we have. And as I was just mentioning right before this presentation, as of yesterday, most of the restrictions are being eased as well, so we are heading back into normalcy. So prior to COVID, as I said, Adelaide has got a lot of things that are constantly going on. We are known as the city of festivals. So these are just some pictures from the Adelaide Fringe, the Womadelaide AusAsia Festival. So most of this happened during late autumn right up to spring and summer. So other than festivals, we are also very coffee oriented people. There's coffee just about everywhere. There are cafes everywhere. Coffee culture is really important here in Adelaide. There's also a lot of lifestyle things that takes place. This is just one of the eateries around in the Adelaide city. There's also shopping. This is Rundle Mall. This is one of the biggest shopping malls. For us, shopping malls are actually not buildings. It's more of a strip of land with shops on both sides, and we call that the mall. So in the weekends, people choose to mostly leave the city, get out a little bit. These are wineries. Most of South Australia is covered with winery. We are one of the biggest wine exporters in the world. And of course, koalas. It's also a very outdoorsy place. So if you like hikes, if you like nature, South Australia, in the city itself, there is a compulsory parkland. You can see koalas in the city, but if you step out, of course, places like Cleland, like Morialta, there's a lot of places where you can go for hikes. You can see kangaroos just walking about, koalas walking about, and this is what South Australia is known for. So despite everything that the city has to offer, it's a pretty affordable place to live. It is about 14% more affordable than any other major Australian cities. So if you're looking at terms of expenses, we are about 13% cheaper than Melbourne, 16% cheaper than Sydney, and we have one of the lowest median rent rate in the country. So accommodation around the city is a lot cheaper than the bigger cities as well. So for cost of living, what we usually advise our students, you'd expect to spend about $330 a week. And this would cover food, accommodation, utilities, transport, entertainment, just about everything. And this is actually a comfortable amount that we usually quote for our students, just because this is what you'd expect if you want to stay like in a house by yourself. You don't want to share, you don't want to cook, you want to eat out. You're looking at more fancier transportation, like if you do Uber all the time rather than take the bus, the amount that you expect is $330. But a lot of times our students actually can keep the cost of living a lot lower than this in Adelaide. Students are allowed to work part-time. So there's a minimum wage over in Australia. So minimum wage for students most of the time is about $20 per hour. And if you do work a maximum of 20 hours a week for $20 an hour, you get at least about $400 a week. Most of our students do get to cover their cost of living just from their part-time work and only come out of pocket for the tuition fees. So this is a benefit actually in Adelaide because we are such an affordable city. So public transport. For students in Adelaide, it is mostly subsidized. So for tertiary public transport students, they do have a card and it allows you unlimited travel anywhere in Adelaide, and it only costs $49 a month. And this is really convenient for our students Because most of our campuses for international students are located in the city. We have 4 campuses around the city, 2 in the middle of the city, City West, City East, and 2 that are about 17 to 22 minutes away by bus or train. That is the McGill campus and also the Mawson Lakes campus. So if I have not mentioned before, we are also one of the 10th most livable city in the world. So coming back to the university, we are currently ranked top 50 in universities under 50 years old, which we are actually only about 21 years old, but our ranking is pretty high because of the quality of our courses and also the achievement of our past students, our alumni. So this is just a profile of the university. Currently, we have about 35,000 students in total. This is international plus domestic. We have about 6,500 plus and counting international students from more than 80 countries. We have 6 campuses, so the 4 that I've already mentioned in the city. We also have 2 more campuses out at Mount Gambier and also Wayala. So these are more of a niche campus where we run only particular courses. We offer more than 200 degrees. I'll go into it a little. So we have 7 academic units or 7 disciplines, and I will go more into detail about this as I go on in my presentation. We have courses in allied health and human performance, so things like exercise, sports science, physiotherapy, speech pathology, medical radiation. These are all allied health courses. We also offer programs in business. We are actually the top 1% business school in the world. We are also a double crown business school. We offer courses in accounting, business analytics, human resources, management, marketing, so on and so forth. We also have courses in clinical and also health sciences. So these cover food and nutrition sciences, laboratory medicine, nursing, pharmacy, so on and so forth. UniSA Creative, we offer arts programs, design, journalism, and all the related courses. Education Futures relates mostly to teaching courses, education courses. And then there's Justice and Society, covers law, psychology, social work, and all the social sciences. And then there's STEM. So we have aviation, IT, math, science, engineering programs. So these are just some of the things that we offer. And for most of our courses, we are ranked quite highly. As you can see, we are either within the top 100 in the world or top 20 in Australia. So the quality of our courses is really good. So this is just a little bit about how we structure our courses or how what we believe education should be. So what most people actually think when it comes to education is that a degree will give you a job. But we, in truth or in reality, and what we think is that a degree generally does not give you a job. It's not sufficient. What you actually need together with your degree is also experience and networks. So your degree plus with experience plus with networks would get you a job. And so what we do with our courses is to make sure that we're really practical. So when you study with us, it is not just about going into classes and doing your exams and then ending after 3 or 4 years with a paper in your hand that tells you that you can now do the job. But we actually put in or incorporate things into the degree itself to make sure that you have hands-on learning, that when you come out and you go to work, you are prepared for it. So we incorporate things like career mentoring, we have internships and placements, industry projects, guest lectures. So all these things are incorporated into the course itself. And it's not something that's optional, so you'll do it together as you study with your programs. So how do we do it? So in the 4 campuses, the reason also why we have got multiple campuses is because each campus is specifically built for the courses that it offers. So the first one, or our flagship campus, is actually City West. This is the Jeffrey Smart building, which is in City West campus. This is where most of the teaching and learning takes place. The library is here. We've got classes, we've got lecture halls, and so on and so forth for students. One of the programs that is offered at City West is the UniSA Business Programs. So as I mentioned, we are ranked in the top 1% of the world. We are also double crowned. We have got a AACSB ranking and also an EQUIS ranking for our business programs. For AACSB, a few thousand schools have it in the world. We are one of those schools out of 16,500 business schools in the world. For EQUIS ranking, only 189 schools have this ranking. We are one of those schools. In South Australia, we are the only school that has both these rankings together, so that's why we are known as a double crown school. Some of the courses that we offer, I've already mentioned this, so I won't go into it in detail. This is the highlight of our business programs. So if we remember what I said about incorporating practical learning into the programs, so this is what we do. For students, we have guest lectures where people from the industry actually come in to deliver lectures. So it's not just lecturers and academics, but people who have really been in the industry, CEOs, CFOs, people who have practical experience, they come in to teach our students. We also have a dedicated business student hub for our students who arrange internships, placements, any sort of practical learning for the students. We have peer-assisted study sessions where students who are close to graduating, who have done really well, then tutor our students, the new students who are joining us. We also have programs to help you with professional development. So soft skill courses, networking sessions. We also have career mentoring. So students who do business programs with us can actually sign up for career mentoring sessions with people from the industry. So every few weeks or so, you'd have a meeting and they would tell you based on what your goals are, how do you work towards it, and how you can start your journey towards what you want to be from the time that you actually start your study. So you don't have to wait till you graduate to then start learning how to be successful in the industry. Our students actually start learning even before they graduate. So apart from that, we also have a lot of social programs for the business students. These are all the social activities that we organize so that students can take part in. Okay. So this as well, I've also already mentioned, we are the only business school in South Australia that is accredited by both the AACSB and also the EQUIS. These rankings are not easy to get. We are only able to get them because of the fact that we met certain criteria, which includes the employability of our students once they graduate, our alumni and their performance, current facilities that we have for our business students. So these are just some of the things that help us to get these accreditations and also maintain it. So this is Maithili. She's a Malaysian student. She's one of the UniSA business student who studied with us, currently graduated and has already, despite the COVID situation, she is currently employed in South Australia. She just started work a week ago. She was one of our students. This is Mark. He's currently working in Malaysia. He just graduated last year. He also chose UniSA business for his further studies. I'm not sure how clear this is. This is actually one of our past alumni who is currently a governor at the Bank Negara Malaysia, and her signature actually appears on the $50 note. So these are some of our notable alumni from the business program. So we are really known for our graduate career outcomes. You will see this across the presentation for all the other programs as well. We're ranked really highly for our courses. And so this is just something that we have for our students. So another program that we run at the City West campus is Justice and Society, which relates to courses in law, psychology, social work, and all the other social sciences. For psychology, we are currently ranked #1 in South Australia for graduate careers. So our psychologists or our psychology students do have a very high employability rate, and it's actually more than the national average. These are just some rankings for other programs related to justice and society. So within this discipline, we're really known for social work. We're top 10 in Australia. We're top 100 in the world for law. And we have more well above world-class research for psychology and cognitive sciences. This UniSA creative programs, which includes arts, architecture, design, journalism, these programs are also run from the City West campus. For architecture, we actually have more than 80 plus years of teaching experience. And now you're going to ask me, why is it 80 plus years when the university is only 20 plus years old? So this actually comes from the history of UniSA, where we originally started as a group of schools who have been in South Australia for more than 100 plus years old, and they came together to form the University of South Australia. So although the university itself, being known as the University of South Australia, were pretty new, but our history, our teaching, our experience actually is a lot older than the university itself. And so that's why we're able to provide world-class education. That's why we're able to provide you with really quality education as well. So again, this is a recurring theme that you would see. Our students are actually very employable. We are top 10 in Australia for graduate careers in creative arts. We are also one of the top, we have very high employability rates for students in architecture and also built technology. We're top 10 in Australia for teaching quality for architecture and also built environment. So this is the second biggest campus that we have in the city. This is City East. This is for students who are thinking about studying health-related programs. So anything to do with allied health or clinical health that comes under City East. One of the highlights of this campus is that we have the Horizon Hospital and Health Services. So this is actually a mock hospital. It has all the facilities and all the, it can literally run as a real hospital. So we have all the facilities, we have all the work power or resources needed to run it as a hospital in the event that it's needed. But for our students, it is a mock hospital. So if you're studying any sort of health related programs, this is where your classes would be run. So you'll be learning on dummies, but using the same tools, using the same resources that a real hospital would have. So even before you graduate, while you're just studying your course, you are studying it exactly as what you would do in real life. For students who are thinking about doing, say, laboratory sciences, who are thinking of going into research, the Cancer Research Institute is under UniSA as well. We run a lot of research surrounding not just cancer, like currently because of COVID. If you remember the what I mentioned about the COVID testing, a lot of the tests were also developed in this institute. And so that's why we have been able as a city to run one of the highest number of tests. So South Australia is known also as the Biomed City. So for health related programs, we have got the Royal Adelaide Hospital. It's worth more than $1 billion and it's a very new hospital that has been developed with state-of-art facilities. There's also the South Australia Health and Medical Research Institute, or SAHMRI. This is where there's also research that takes place and research not only covering the state itself, but for the rest of Australia. And there are also some research that relates to things that are happening all around the world. Currently, all our facilities are focused more on the COVID situation, but prior to COVID and also I believe after this, there would be other things that takes place there. So in the City East campus as well, we run the Allied Health and Human Performance programs. So that covers physiotherapy, speech pathology, exercise and nutrition, exercise and sport science. One hallmark of our courses is the high number of placements that we have for health students. So our health students actually complete more than 1 million plus placement hours each year. And they do about 200. So we conduct at least more than 270,000 plus student placement across 2,500 locations. So what we do for students within the program is that they have compulsory placements that they need to complete, and we arrange it for them so that they do not have to worry about it, or they don't need to go and source for these placements. We actually arrange it for them so that they have placements that cover different parts of where they would practice. It can be hospitals, it can be private practices, it can be either in the urban areas or in the rural areas. So we make sure that students get like a wide range of experience before they graduate. So again, we are top 10 in Australia for graduate careers in health services. We're also top 5 in Australia for graduate skills in health services. So this is another set of programs that also runs at the City East campus, covering food and nutrition sciences, laboratory medicine, pharmacy, nursing, medical sciences programs. We are actually a member of NEEP. So if you're thinking about doing pharmacy, we are one of the founding members of the National Alliance of Pharmacy Association in Australia. There are only 4 universities that are a member of NEEP. We are one of them. So again, when it comes to pharmacy, whether it's research, whether it's pharmacy education, we have the skills and also the ability to teach them. So again, placement, our students do a lot of placements together with their education to make sure that they are really prepared for work life once they graduate. So we're world top 150 for pharmacy. We're also world top 100 for nursing. And again, a recurring theme, we are placed in the top 10 in Australia for graduate careers in health services and top 5 in Australia for graduate skills in health services. This is our third campus. This is the McGill campus. It looks very artsy-fartsy. That's because a lot of arts programs and also education programs that are based at the McGill campus. This is a facility called the Samsung Smart School facility. These are for students who are intending to become teachers, where even before the COVID situation happened, our students who were learning or studying to become teachers actually learned at a facility like this, where they learn how to use technology to teach students. So remote learning, remote teaching, all of this for our students was not new. So when COVID happened, they really easily just transition into remote learning, online teaching, so on, because they've got experience learning at a facility like this. So this whole facility is actually powered or resourced by Samsung, where they've provided the technology, and schools around the area actually come in to the university to be taught by our students, sort of like a test lesson, so that they can experience this for themselves. So this is some of the programs that we run at McGill, mostly related to teaching languages, education, technology. These are some of the things that we have for in the McGill campus. So again, we are number 1 in SA for graduate careers in teaching. Students who study teaching are really employable. We have got above world-class research in education. We are also world top 100 in education. This is also a personal experience because my husband was a UniSA student in teaching. He graduated from UniSA and is currently working here in SA. So this is our 4th campus, Mawson Lakes. Mawson Lakes has a very futuristic approach because this is where all our IT engineering courses are run. Also our aviation programs are run. These are some of the civil engineering facilities within Mawson Lakes. So as I said, we are really, we put a strong emphasis on having the students learning on facilities that are suited for their courses so that they really get hands-on experience and not just an academic program. So we have one of Australia's largest strong floor. So this is for students doing civil engineering, even mechanical as well. So they learn how to put in like the foundations that go into buildings. They learn how to work with different kind of cement. They also say work on planning water channels, like how does all of this work when you are building a structure. So That's for engineering students. We have a mechatronics lab. So if for students who are thinking about robotics, thinking about AI, these are some of the labs that we do. We also participate in international competitions for robotics as well, and we've won quite a few. This is the Cisco networking lab. So students who think about doing IT, most of our programs are Cisco accredited. So you do get both the registration, you do get your academic, your bachelor papers, but you also at the same time do get Cisco accreditation or certification for certain programs that you do. These are the programs that are run from Mawson Lakes, the STEM programs. So it covers aviation, if you're thinking of becoming a pilot, engineering programs, construction programs, IT, of course, maths, and also science. So generally for IT students, and also for all of our courses, this is how we would more or less structure the courses to be. So in most universities or most classes, you would expect in a year, you take about like 4 courses. You'd study the program from start of the semester to the end of the semester, you do an exam, and then you graduate with a score. But what we try to do is to make it really practical. So what we do is that you would take a number of courses. Midway through the semester, you actually stop, and then you do a design thinking studio or something related to it, where you then apply everything that you've learned in the course so far in the studio, and then you are graded for that work that you do, and then after that you continue on with your program. So in that way, students get to learn something academic, then they get to apply it to see whether they've learned the things that they're supposed to learn, and then they continue on with the course to sort of then top up everything that you've learned, to make sure that you really understand what the program is about, and not just learn, memorize, do your exam and get done. For us, it's a lot about really practical teaching, practical learning. And these happens in every year, every semester. So these are just some of the projects for engineering that we have. We do join, as I said, international competitions. Students do take part in final year programs and honors projects. Some of these are with rail companies. So if you're an engineering student, you can actually work on a project with a rail company, and that could be a product that is eventually sold out to the public. And we have this for all students. So regardless of whether or not, if you do get really good grades, you get really good projects, even if you don't get good enough grades, we still arrange honest projects for all of our students to take part in. These are also some capstone professional projects. These are for IT students. Guest lectures that happens for IT students. So IT students also have similar projects where they do final year projects with either a real company or academic projects. For IT, we are top 10 in Australia for teaching quality in for engineering, we are top 10 in Australia for teaching quality. We are also top 10 in Australia for student satisfaction in IT. We are top 10 in Australia for computer science. Generally, these are how our campuses look. So across all the different campuses, this is the facilities that you'd find, how the lecture theaters would look, where the online learning environment is. On top of that, we also have facilities such as these, like student lounges, where students can actually relax, where you can learn, where you can do your study groups. These again are the student lounges available at all the different campuses. Then we have Pridham Hall. So this is where most of our graduation is run, but at other times there's also a Olympic-sized pool for students. There's also the fitness or the gym that is available at Pridham Hall. Generally, this is how our intakes work. We've got 2 big semesters. We call it study period 2 and 5. So for most of the courses in any area, you would expect that there would be 2 intakes in a year. For business school students, it's slightly different because it works a little bit more like a trimester basis. So they've got a different start dates and different intakes. So this is an idea of fees and how much it would be in Malaysian ringgit across the courses. So of course, we've got scholarships. We've got two, the International Merit Scholarship and also the Vice Chancellor's International Excellence Scholarship. The first one, the International Merit Scholarship, it's 25% of your first year fee. Anyone who applies to us are automatically assessed. And the scores that you would expect, or the scores that we would accept for the scholarship is an ETA equivalent of 80. If you're doing an A-levels course, that is a 9 total, best of 3 subjects. So we don't usually calculate language courses or general papers, but anything like biology, chemistry, economics, those subjects would all be calculated. So best 9 from the best of 3 subjects. This is the VC's International Excellence Scholarship. This is slightly higher than the IMS offering. So this is 50% off your whole degree. So for this scholarship, the recipients would need to maintain a GPA so that they can maintain the scholarship. But to be selected, we do expect students to be the cream of the crop. So to have really high scores, which is for us, it's a higher distinction equivalent. So ETA scores is usually 95, like it's over 100, so it's about 95 over 100. So if you're thinking about A levels, same thing. It's students who are close to getting a perfect score, so to say. You would need to submit a personal statement together with your application, and then you'd be selected. However, students who do become who are selected as the recipients of the VC's International Excellence Scholarship, you do get a lot of benefits because activities that happen throughout the year in the universities, students who are recipients of the scholarship get a better opportunity with those.
Sorry, Sharon. Sorry to interrupt. We have reached about half an hour. So would you like to maybe wrap it up in a few minutes or go on so that we
Okay,
can
I've just got like a few more slides.
Okay, sure.
Very few. I'll just run through them. So for students, we do have career services. We help you with internship, part-time jobs, jobs after graduation as well. This is just something on accommodation. We have a dedicated team that helps our students to get accommodation with us. You just need to contact us and we will help you to source the right sort of accommodation to suit your budget. Again, just some statistics or rankings on student satisfaction. We are #1 in South Australia for student satisfaction because of our services. I did have a video. Do we have time to play it though?
It's up to you. Yeah,
2 minutes long. Okay. So I'm going to just play this. It summarizes everything that I have mentioned so far. actually added my email address to the chat. And if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch. And that's it from me.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Sharon, for that presentation. Now I'd like to just invite the students to post their questions, if any, so that they can ask something more specific to maybe they have an idea of what courses that they wanted to do and how that could be done at Uni of South Australia. Okay, so let me just see if you like to turn on your video or your audio, maybe you can ask those questions. If not, you could also type it in the chat box. But it would be nice if you could turn on your video and ask the questions. See if anybody has any questions. Let's see.
So I've also shared a copy of UniSA's handbook that has a list of all the programs that we offer.
Okay, I think our participants are a little bit shy. Surely there must be some questions. Uni of South Australia. So, okay. You mentioned something about accommodation earlier on. What are the options for the students if they wanted to stay nearby to the school? Is there a student accommodation nearby to Uni of South Australia, or is
Yes. So because we are a city-based university, we don't have our own accommodation, so we don't maintain our own hostels or own dormitories, but we do work with accommodation providers. So what is really common here in Adelaide is that there are companies like Urban Nest or Capital Stays or Uni Lodge that have like high-rise buildings with different option of rooms. So they've got like single rooms with ensuite bathrooms, or you have like a more like an apartment style with shared facilities, shared kitchen and so on. And you get to choose which one you want. If you're a UniSA student, we work closely with Urban Nest. You do get a discount as a UniSA student to stay with them. And their facilities are mostly very close to the campus. So there's one near City West, there's also one near City East. For Mawson Lake students, they get to stay at a place called Capital Stays. So most of these facilities will be fully furnished, and they would have like all the facilities like you need, like Wi-Fi and electricity. All those things are covered as well. But that being said, Adelaide is really small in terms of like connection to the city is really easy. So if you stay at a suburb, you do get to bring down your cost a lot. So there are private rentals, flat shares, so on and so forth. So there are a lot of different options in terms of accommodation. As I mentioned in my slide, we do have a team that looks at all of this. So a dedicated team whom you can just approach, let them know what your budget is, what your preference is, and they'll actually help you to source out the right sort of accommodation.
I see. Could you maybe share with us how is the transportation like in in Adelaide? Would you recommend the students, get a car or something if they stay there, or would it be, or should they just take the public transportation? I've never been to Adelaide, so I'm not sure how
Okay.
the transportation is like. Public transportation is like in Adelaide.
Okay, so I'll just put up the slide that I had earlier. That will probably help to answer that question.
But if in the meantime the students have any questions, please don't be shy. Please ask the question.
So Transportation in Adelaide is really convenient. So most students, what they do is that they use public transportation simply because it's really cheap for students. We have the system called the MetroMate. It's similar to the Rapid KL or Rapid Penang offering in Malaysia. Ours is called the Metro, Adelaide Metro. So if students actually get a concession card that only costs $49 a month, and that will allow them to use public transports like buses, trains, trams, any sort of public transportation anywhere around Adelaide for only $49 per month. If you're thinking that why is this a bus and why is it going on a train track, this is also a hallmark of Adelaide. This makes transportation really convenient because we do have buses that go on this track, and they're called the O-Bahns. So regardless of where you are staying, this actually at the furthest part of the city, it takes only about half an hour to get in to the city. So that's like the maximum time that you're looking at for in terms of travel. But for Malaysians who have Malaysian driving licenses, you can actually drive in Adelaide. So there are some students who also choose to get a car because cars are not that expensive here. Like you can get a second-hand Camry for about maybe $3,000 to $5,000. Some students do that as well, especially if they've got friends and they usually get a car that they can all use for travel. So that's also an option. But we would say that the cheapest obviously is public transport, and then here public transport is really punctual. So you've got an app that tells you that the bus comes in the next 5 minutes, and the bus really comes in the next 5 minutes. So you don't really have to worry about not getting public transport. Yeah.
So this $49 is available to any students. You don't have to be a local. You can be an international. You could still get it.
Yes, as long as you have like your student card. So if you're working, if you're studying with UniSA, you'd get your UniSA student card. As long as you have a student card, you can actually buy this concession card, and it only costs $49 a month.
I see. That's interesting. Yeah, can save a lot on accommodation.
Yes.
I'm sorry, on transportation. Okay, so no questions. May, do you have any questions? Maybe you can ask Sharon.
No. Maybe for the students, after this session, feel free to come to our office. Just now I put in the chat box our contact and our addresses. So after this session, feel free to come to us, to ask further information on University of South Australia. And then from there, step by step, we will assist you with the application, all that.
Yeah. So if students here or students who maybe if you have got friends who did not attend today, but if they are interested, feel free to get them to contact me as well. Like if you want to have a chat on the courses, or if you're thinking about something specific that you hadn't thought about during this presentation, by all means, either contact me or contact me as well. I've got my email address out in the chat, and we can arrange another session and we can talk in detail about the programs. Like if you're thinking about something really specific that I have not covered today, yeah, feel free to contact me as well.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, May. I think we have reached the end of this session. As has been said, please contact May at the number given in the chat box. So you could just save that up 082246795, or you could contact Sharon as well. I think the contact and the link has been given in the chat box. So thank you very much, Sharon. Take care. Have a good day. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Okay, so yep, we will hopefully get some. Sorry, what I'm saying is that this is recorded, so we could probably share this further on down the road. Okay, so there we go. Sharon Kartipan, unisa.edu.au. that is the email to contact if you have any further questions. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Moses. Thank you,
No
everybody.
worries. Well, thank you all for having me. It was good seeing you. Nice to see Jamie as well. I think she's the only person who has her camera on.
So Jamie is from our Lodge 2 Alumni Association. She's a
Okay.
okay. So all right, I'll end the chat, the video call now, and thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. See you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.